Coming up on Lexington Now, a multi-million-dollar grant to help at-risk youth, a new skate park in Lexington, and the Minority Business Expo is coming up. This and more up next on this week's edition of Lexington Now. Roberts, and welcome to this week's edition of Lexington Now, where as always we give you an inside look at what's going on around the urban county government. The Keenan Charitable Trust has given $5 million in the way of a grant to support the creation of a Young Leaders Fellowship to help young black men and boys ages 16 to 25 improve their life outcomes.
Keenan Charitable Trust has is investing in Louisville over $5 million over the next 3 years for Louisville and Lexington to partner as they build out fellowships in their communities and in their cities. And the fellowships are going to target and reach out to young men who are 16 to 25 who have been connected to the criminal justice system. And this is really around how do we really tap into that underused resource in our communities and really get them prepared to be civically engaged and civically ready to lead our cities in the next generation. So this is really about making sure that our cities have the resources it needs to be prepared and ready for the next generation of leaders. We want these young men to know that they can be the next Mayor Gray or the next Mayor Fisher, and we want to provide them with those opportunities and that support.
Now we've come together to work with the William R. Keenan Jr. Charitable Trust and Cities United to address another common and critical challenge that faces cities all over the country, and certainly our cities as well, and that's the urgent need to create more pathways for success for young men of color in Louisville and Lexington. Now, this work is essential for our communities because for too many Kentuckians, factors like their race, zip code, and lack of access to resources and networks for safety, education, and career advancement make it virtually impossible for them to achieve what people refer to as the American dream. For too many people, it's not an American dream. And the fact is that there are particular challenges that Americans of color face that are the result of the history of our country and a legacy of exclusion. And we have to acknowledge that shared history. It includes actions like redlining, which is a banking practice that effectively denied housing loans to African Americans. Urban renewal is another practice. It's a federal program which devastated communities of color like Louisville's Russell neighborhood, which was called the Harlem of the South in the 30s and 40s because it was rich with black-owned businesses. A lot of these practices, discriminatory practices, were enabled or even conducted by our government. So generations of African Americans had very little opportunity for upward mobility and limited options and places to live, to grow wealth in their homes, which is mostly where people have their wealth, and the practice of redlining just basically didn't allow that to happen. We talk about this issue in Louisville all the time because I don't want people to be like, say that I'm not responsible for that. None of us were around then. So we can't be responsible for our history, but we can be responsible for today and for our futures, because the reality is we see the impact of those practices today and the challenges that some of our African American neighborhoods face, and you see it in data related to poverty, to crime, to health, education, employment. It goes on and on and on. And these challenges hit especially hard for young men of color. The data does not lie. Nationally, we lose 14 young men of color every day to gun violence. 14 young men of color. Think if we were losing 14 people in suburban malls around our country every day. What would our country be doing? Everything possible to stop that. Well, the result, or the fact is, too, we as a country have been not doing everything we possibly can to stop the death of young men of color in our cities every day. This announcement today is part of changing that.
This is an exciting day for both of our cities, especially, though, for the young men and boys who will know a better future because of the grant funding that we're announcing here today. I want to thank the Lexington Council member Joe Smith, who is here. Thank you, Joe, for coming over. I know how interested you are in this project. I also want to thank Glenn Brown, my Deputy Chief Administrative Officer, who has been involved in this project from the very beginning. And I want to welcome, I'm going to get to Chris Ford here in a minute. I want to welcome our first director of One Lexington, Laura Hatfield. One Lexington is a new office with a challenging assignment, addressing violence prevention and intervention, digging into root causes and reaching out to Lexington's most vulnerable young people. We're calling this office One Lexington because we know it will take all of us, inside and outside of government, the faith community, the social services community, all of us working together. But any project needs a leader, and this office will bring folks together and help us make the best use of our resources to make progress. Now, One Lexington already has partners throughout the community, and some of them, fortunately, are here today, like David Kozart, who was just recently on NBC's Today program, by the way. David is director of the Fayette County Fatherhood Initiative. Malcolm Ratchford with the Community Action Council. Roy Woods with United Way, and a longtime advocate for young people. And I said I was going to get to Chris Ford, and I'm there right now. And Chris Ford, our Commissioner of Social Services, whose programs provide a safety net for so many young people, and who has a heart as big as gold. Thanks to all of you for the incredible work that you do. As all of you know, sometimes all a young person needs is someone to invest, to provide a little help, a little redirection and guidance. An enormous thanks to the William R. Keenan Charitable Trust and to Cities United. Thanks to them, help is on the way. Mayor Fisher and I agree that young men and boys should grow up in a safe, healthy community, the kind of neighborhoods that foster creativity, a sense of hope and pride. Both of our cities are working hard to create strategies and forge relationships to help create better outcomes for young black men and boys. Through the Keenan Trust, Anthony and Cities United will work at the individual level. The mayor did a great job of illustrating and sharing the process. I won't repeat it. But at this individual level is where so much inspiration and encouragement can be provided. In addition to its involvement with the Keenan Trust, Cities United works through the Coach Fellowship Program in Lexington. It's one of the programs we believe can help young black men and boys overcome social root causes that all too often lead to crime, violence, or incarceration, and instead grow up to be citizens who are highly employable. We all know that when we invest in young people, we invest in a brighter future for all of our citizens. Our cities simply can't afford to lose the unlimited potential of our young black men. We need their contribution to our economy, to our community, and to families. And that's why the funding we're announcing here today is so important.
For more information about this program, you can visit the KeenanCharitableTrust.org. Well, there is a new option for skaters in town with the opening of the Valley Park Skate Spot. Here's more information about it.
More than 2 years ago, a young man contacted my office, and he expressed that he would like to have a skate park in Valley Park. And honestly, I thought he would probably be married with children before we got it done. But thanks to so many people, that was about 2 years ago, and now we have a skate park. I think it's important, and he also explained, a very, very smart young man, that having a variety of activities is so important to our community, because not everybody likes to play soccer, which is played here regularly, or ballet from Bluegrass Youth Ballet at the shelter. So having a variety is a good thing, and the skate park added to this. I'm very grateful to once I brought this to the attention of Parks and Rec, Michelle Kasiniak, who was landscape architect for LFUCG, skateboard junkie, an expert, Reed Small, who is with Parks and Recreation, and along with the Valley Park Activities Board, Will Anglin, and other board members. Then Friends of the Skate Park, Cosmic Skate, Partners for Youth all played huge roles in getting this completed, along with a clinic where kids can learn to use a skateboard if they've never been on one or don't feel confident on one. So we're going to be giving out skateboards and helmets in a drawing. I think we have 35 total. We'll probably have more kids than that, but we'll work on that for a later date. So I hope the kids that are here today enjoy the introduction to the clinic.
It's pretty monumental that we have 4 now skate parks for our kids in the community or adults to get out and enjoy. It's been a great effort from Parks and Rec and the City Council, and as well they're responsible for donating the money to Friends for Skate Parks this afternoon so that we can have all the skateboards to give away tomorrow afternoon, which is pretty amazing. It's really, I want to also thank Cosmic Skate Shops. They're the ones here that we got the boards from, and will help participate in the lessons that we're going to do for the next 2 days. That's all I have to say. I just want to thank everybody. Appreciate it.
Yeah, I'm just super stoked that we're actually given the opportunity to be a part of this, to be able to give kids a bunch of boards and whatnot to get them started into the skate community around here. And for Parks and Recs and the city for putting on the opportunity for them to have a good skate park to actually practice and get better at.
I would like to tell you just how important Cardinal Valley Park is to our community. When my family moved here in 1964, my mother sent my brothers to the park and said, go find a friend, and they did. And they are still lifelong friends with those people that they made friendships with at Valley Park.
Hello, my name is Abdullah, and I would like to thank the people of the United States for making this the best park in the world. Thank you.
When I first got on the council back in '88, she was the main person that told me all about this park, and it's amazing what we've gone through for the last 30 years, and to see these kids all here for this great skateboard park, it's really exciting times. And it is true, this probably is one of the best parks in town, and I really want to commend this lady right here who's done this, because without her help, a lot of this stuff would not be done at this park. So I want to thank you for everything you've done, Peggy. Thank you.
Thank you. 2, 3, go.
For more information about how you can rock out on your board, visit friendsforskateparks.com. And coming up after the break, the Minority Business Expo is nearly here.
Hello, I'm Detective Mark Thomas with the Lexington Police Department. You may also know me from Bluegrass Crime Stoppers. I'm here to talk to you a little bit today about a new texting system that we have available through any smartphone. In the body of your message, you can text LexPD plus your tip to crimes. When you're submitting anonymous information, we ask that you include several things that would help us conduct the investigations more thoroughly, such as a person's name, their home address, possible license plate numbers, any other people involved, or why you think that they're conducting the type of activity that you believe that they are. All of those things, no matter how small you believe they could be, are relevant to the investigation. So please include those. So remember, you can send your anonymous tip information either through text, you can call the Bluegrass Crime Stoppers anonymous tip line at 859-253-2020, or you can go online to bluegrasscrimestoppers.com. Thank you.
Cigarette butts are the #1 most littered item in Lexington. Filters in cigarettes are not biodegradable like an apple core. They can take up to 25 years to decompose. Please put your butts where they belong. Don't trash the Bluegrass.
Welcome back to the show. Lexington's popular Minority Business Expo is just around the corner, and there's a lot to see and do for interested business owners. Here's what you need to know if you plan to go. 15 years ago, it began as an idea. Today, the Lexington Bluegrass Area Minority Business Expo is considered the leading business conference in the Commonwealth of Kentucky. It draws and connects small businesses to major corporations with a mission to work with minority and women-owned businesses.
Hey, I would just tell anybody that wants to be a part of this, you need to be a part of this. If you have a growing minority business and you want to get exposure, the best way to do it in Kentucky is to be a part of the Minority Business Expo. It's been great for RPS, and I'm sure it'll be great for your company.
The networking, you don't ever want to leave out. You always want to come, and we encourage people to bring their business cards, bring their conversation, because you have the opportunity to meet people, and you never know what that connection is going to be just by having that first interaction with an individual. It's the opportunity to grow your business, to gain new customers. So that's what it's about for our minority businesses, our women-owned businesses. It's just important to get out there and meet new people.
Having some help getting your foot in the door for that first opportunity, that's one of the things that I think that MBE and DBE, FBE programs are so helpful for, is because getting that first opportunity is oftentimes the hardest thing, and that's where you're trying to break into a club, maybe a country club where you don't fit in, but that helps open the door. And after that, it's up to you and your company to really do a good job at whatever it is that you do or you sell. So I really appreciate the opportunity that we had from last year's Expo in particular to be able to affect, hopefully, this year's success.
But when you go into the Minority Business Expo, you feel a sense of positiveness, a sense of cooperativeness with the majority companies. They actually send the people who are making the decisions, who are the buyers. That's something you don't always get in all these other expos, but you do get that here at Bluegrass Expo. And they're very consistent, and they really want to do business with MBEs and WBEs. And you just can feel that passion that the people that work for the Bluegrass Expo exudes.
And with our business, like so many businesses, it all starts with effective communication and building a relationship. So building that relationship there, it was recommended that we attend the Minority Business Expo, which we did. And I'll tell you, we've done a lot of trade shows nationally as well as conferences. That was probably dollar for dollar one of the most effective expos we could have attended. It was so impressive that we will do it, on and on and on. But more importantly, one of the things that I realized, it's not a one-person show. So we will bring a team of people down next time, because there was so much different activity going on, so many different people that we wanted to talk to, that one person just couldn't do it all.
The Minority Business Expo does provide the opportunity not only for networking with other small businesses, as well as being involved with larger companies that come to the expo to provide the opportunity for them to kind of pitch their services. And the program also has breakout sessions on topics that would be important to small businesses. And each year we have a speaker that is usually very interesting.
The 15th anniversary Minority Business Expo, presented by Fifth Third Bank, is August 4th, 2017 at the Lexington Convention Center. Register now to join in the celebration and what could be opportunities around every corner. Go to LexingtonMBE.com for more information. City Council is on summer recess, but there are still a few televised meetings scheduled for this week, including the Planning Commission meeting on Thursday and the Board of Adjustment on Friday. You can watch these meetings live as well as our other programming on our channel or online at lexingtonky.gov. Well, that is all for this week's edition of Lexington Now. We'll return next week with more news from your urban county government, but in the meantime, you can keep up with what we're doing by following us on Facebook, Twitter, and YouTube. You can also get 24/7 traffic updates by following us on Twitter. Our handle for that is @LexRex. Or if you're one of those folks who likes to see exactly what's going on with your own two eyes, you can visit our live interactive cameras. They're online on the city's website. You know where to find us, lexingtonky.gov. For the staff and producers at GTV3, I'm Sherelle Roberts, and that's it for now.